Welcome to a very special ranking video, as today is July 6, 2024, which means it's the great Sylvester Stallone's 78th birthday. Stallone is easily and arguably my favorite actor of all time, and always will be. Nobody's going to even come close. I grew up watching many of his films, some of which you may not like, the critics may not have liked, but I hold them near and dear to my heart. So what I want to do was something special for his birthday. So I took 30 random Stallone movies, and I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. I own 26 of these 30 movies. I rewatched all of them in preparation for this video, and I don't like all of them. There are two, 29 and 30, that I don't think I'll ever watch again, and I hate them to a degree. I know I left off some movies. I'm not including any of the Expendables movies. I'm not including Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm not including Fist. I'm not including Rhinestone. I'm not including Oscar. I'm not including Get Carter. I only picked 30. I could have done like 40, but then it would have been hard to complete this ranking video. So before I get into ranking, a few things I've already kind of alluded to. This video is going to be my personal opinion. We're not going to have all the same rankings, so make sure that you leave your ranking down in the comments section. Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms, and of course, don't forget to share your opinion in the comments section. My number one is not everybody's number one. A lot of people pick the same movie for their number one Stallone movie. I did not, and I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm going to tell you what placement the movie is, the movie, my score of the movie, and a brief synopsis of the movie, and maybe a couple people that are in it besides Stallone, of course. So just know all that, and again, make sure you leave your ranking in the comments section. And last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You are watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. So let's start off the ranking with number 30, and that would be Judge Dredd. I gave this movie a 0.5 out of 5. That was probably generous. It has, obviously, Stallone, Armand Assante, Diane Lane, Rod Schneider. Even has a brief appearance by Scott Wilson, who played Herschel in The Walking Dead. Rest in peace. I hate this movie. The plot synopsis is, in a dystopian future, Joseph Dredd, the most famous judge, a police officer that with instant field judiciary powers, he's convicted for a crime he did not commit and must face his murderous counterpart. Never want to watch that again. So Judge Dredd, number 30. Coming in 29th place would be Escape Plan 2, Hades. Now, I thought I'd seen this movie before, and maybe I did, but I don't remember anything about it. Maybe perhaps I'd watched Escape Plan 3 and never watched Escape Plan 2. Yes, I know I did not include Escape Plan 3 in this ranking, but I gave it a 1.0 out of 5. That's probably generous. It's got Stallone. It's got the people like 50 Cent in it from the first one. They recast the female in this movie, and I just didn't like it. The plot is, years after he fought his way out of the inescapable prison, Ray Breslin has organized a new top-notch security force, but when one of his team members goes missing, Breslin must return to the hell he once escaped from. Dave Bautista's also in it. Didn't like it, and I don't think I'll ever watch that again. So Escape Plan 2, Hades, number 29. Alright, so from here on out, the rest of these films remaining on this ranking, I could rewatch and enjoy at least moments of the film. They're not all amazing films, but I can at least rewatch them and appreciate some things that the films do. So with all that said, coming in 28th place will be Rambo Last Blood. I gave it a 2.0 out of 5. The plot is Rambo must confront his past and unearth his ruthless combat skills to enact revenge in a final mission, we think. Although they might have another Rambo movie. This isn't bad. It's just different from the other Rambo movies, in my opinion. And it's basically, in my opinion, it's like Home Alone meets Taken. You've got Rambo having, like, traps in this, like, underground tunnel thing, and he kills all these people, like 40, 50 people. I don't know, it's just kind of, like, not believable in my opinion. I still enjoy moments of the film. It's just, so far in the ranking, because I really like Stallone movies, so Rambo Last Blood in 28th place. Coming in 27th place will be Rocky V. With a 2.0 out of 5, reluctantly retired from fighting, Rocky takes charge of Mickey's gym and agrees to train a young protege who's hungry for success. Rocky V, of course, has Tommy Morrison, Talia Shire, Burt Young, and other people in it. I just don't enjoy this movie. It's the worst of the Rocky films. But yet it still is enjoyable to a degree. It's just the Rocky films set the bar so high, and this one's kind of low. So Rocky V, number 27. Coming in 26th place, and this might get me canceled because it's not in 30th place, but my number 26 is going to be Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. With a score of 2.0 out of 5. This is one of those movies that I enjoyed when I was a kid. Me and my grandma used to watch it all the time, but it is a tough police sergeant's overbearing mother comes to visit him and begins to meddle in his life and his career. It's got, of course, Sylvester Stallone, Estelle Getty. I can't remember the main female's name besides Estelle Getty. Gwen is her name in the movie. Joseph Bumowski is Stallone's character. And it's fun. It's not as bad as it's not as bad as what I thought it was going to be rewatching it. It's been a while since I've rewatched Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. It even has Ving Rhames in it, which I did not remember that Ving Rhames was in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. So yes, it's cheesy, but it's still a movie that I have some nostalgia for, but out of all these movies, it's only my number 26. Coming in 25th place, and a lot of these in like the 26 to 20 whatever are interchangeable. On a different day, they could switch hands. But number 25 for me is going to be Samaritan. With a 2.5 out of 5, it's an Amazon Prime movie. A young boy learns that a superhero who was thought to have died after an epic battle 25 years ago may in fact still be alive. It's a fun movie. It's just a little far-fetched in my opinion, but I still like it. I actually want to own it, but it's on Prime. You could probably buy like a overseas import of it, but I like it for the most part. It's good. It has a predictable like plot twist that I could see coming a mile away, but I like Samaritan. I could rewatch it again, but it's only in 25th place. Coming in 24th place will be Escape Plan. With a 2.5 out of 5, when a structural security authority finds himself set up and incarcerated in the world's most secret and secure prison, he has to use his skills to escape with the help from the inside. Of course, this movie also stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. It has Jim Caviezel, Vincent D'Onofrio. You also have 50 Cent in the movie. It's fun. It's not as good as I remember it being when I saw it in the theater and the first time I watched it when I owned it on Blu-ray. But I can still watch it and enjoy it for the most part. It's always fun to see Stallone and Schwarzenegger in the same movie. So, Escape Plan, number 24. Coming in 23rd place, and this might be a hot take, is going to be Rambo III. With another score of 2.5 out of 5, Rambo mounts a one-man mission to rescue his friend, Colonel Troutman, from the clutches of the formidable invading Soviet forces in Afghanistan. It was the Rambo movie that I was kind of bored watching. I don't know, maybe because I was watching other Rambo movies in order, which this was a first-time watch for me, by the way. It's not bad, but it's also the one I didn't like, other than Last Blood, because Last Blood didn't seem like a Rambo movie. It seemed like a Home Alone meets Taken movie. So, Rambo 3 in 23rd place. It also has Martin Kove, or I can't remember the pronunciation. It's John Kreese from Cobra Kai, which was good, but he's kind of a minor character in the movie. So, Rambo 3, number 23. Coming in 22nd place, as my nose has started to itch as usual, it's going to be a first-time watch for me, and that would be Nighthawks. With another 2.5 out of 5. Well, like I said, a lot of these are interchangeable, but the plot is when one of Europe's most lethal terrorists shows up in New York, an elite undercover cop is assigned to take him down by any means necessary. With Stallone, you have Billy D. Williams, and you have Rutger Hauer. It's actually pretty good movie. It's a little bit dated seeing it for the first time now. If I would have seen this back in the day in the early 80s when it came out, I may have liked it more, but it's still a watchable movie, but I don't think I'm going to buy it. So Nighthawks comes in 22nd place. Coming in 21st place will be Grudge Match. With a 3.0 out of 5, you have a pair of aging boxing rivals are coaxed out of retirement to fight one final bout 30 years after their last match. Now, this has actually a lot of people in it. You've got Sylvester Stallone, you've got Robert De Niro, you've got Kevin Hart, you've got John Bernthal, amongst other people. Grudge Match is entertaining. It's like Rocky Balboa, in my opinion, but it was still fun to watch. There's some deep things that happen in the movie, but I enjoyed it. And I didn't remember that John Bernthal was in the movie, so it was cool seeing him. And this was the first big movie that I saw Kevin Hart in, other than like a cameo appearance in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. So Grudge Match with a 3.0 out of 5 comes in 21st place. We've reached the top 20, and coming in 20th place will be The Specialist. With a 3.0 out of 5. Honestly, I thought The Specialist would be a little bit lower ranked. I don't ever remember liking this movie that much growing up. I owned it on VHS, but the plot is a woman entices a bomb expert she's involved with into destroying the mafia that killed her family. This stars Stallone, obviously, Sharon Stone, and James Woods. I actually like this a lot more, again, than I thought I would. It's fun. Some of it's cheesy, but it's good enough where I had to put it in 20th place out of all the movies that I watched. Coming in 19th place, again, this might get me canceled because I know people really like these movies, is going to be Rambo First Blood Part 2. With a 3.0 out of 5, the plot is Rambo returns to the jungles of Vietnam on a mission to infiltrate an enemy base camp and rescue the American POWs still held captive there. Pretty good movie. There's a scene with a potential love interest, and something happens to this potential love interest that kind of made the movie more memorable to me than Rambo 3, where it's just Rambo and Troutman. So I feel like this movie's a little bit more deep than Rambo 3, but again, this was another first-time watch for me. I had never seen the first 3 Rambo movies until this point. I had seen Last Blood already, and I had seen Rambo from 2008, which we haven't talked about yet, but Rambo First Blood Part 2 is my number 19. Coming in 18th place, another thing that might get me canceled because it's too low in my ranking, is going to be Rocky III. With a 3.5 out of 5, Rocky faces the ultimate challenge from a powerful new contender and must turn to a former rival to help regain his throne as the undisputed fighting champion. Of course, this stars Stallone, Talia Shire, Burt Young, Burgess Meredith, Mr. T, Carl Weathers. Stallone has to... So, spoiler alert, I guess, Mickey dies and Stallone gets Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, to be his new trainer to help try to get his title back from Mr. T that had beat him earlier in the movie. We also have a very young Terry Bollea, otherwise known as Hulk Hogan, who's in this movie as Thunderlips. And it's a lot of fun. It's just one of my least favorite Rocky movies. I don't know why. When I was a kid, I liked this movie a lot more, but now I don't like it as much. So Rocky 3, cancel me or not, is only my number 18 out of all these movies that I watched. Coming in 17th place, a first-time watch for me, is Cobra. 3.5 out of 5, a tough on-crime street cop must protect the only surviving witness to a strange murderous cult with far-reaching plans. So Stallone plays a very interesting character in this, and I actually really like this movie. Compared to what I thought, I wasn't going to like it at all. I thought it was going to be like lower on the ranking, and I have to buy this movie because it had like the serial killer slasher element in this movie that I really like. So Cobra, fun movie, That's why it's number 17 for me. All right. Get your cancel buttons ready. Everybody else's number 1. My number 16 is going to be the original Rocky. 3.5 out of 5. Obviously, a small-time Philadelphia boxer gets a rare chance to fight the world heavyweight champion Apollo Creed in a bout which he strives to go the distance for self-respect. I just don't get as much enjoyment out of the first Rocky movie as I do the other ones, aside from Rocky V. And then Rocky III, on a given day, Rocky III could be ahead of the original Rocky. I just find the original Rocky kind of boring. It's dated to me. It's still a good movie. It's just not a movie that I really enjoy and I don't want to rewatch. Like when I watch the Rocky movies, I kind of want to skip the original Rocky. I know I should be canceled. I'm even wearing a Rocky shirt right now. I did that to fool all you. But I don't know. I just don't get as much enjoyment out of the first Rocky. It's a great film. The only thing that really resonates with me is the scene where Paulie yells at Adrian at his house and Rocky's there. Other than that, it's just, I don't know, too old. I don't know. But Rocky from 1976 is only my 16, and get your cancel buttons and hit them. Number 15 for me is going to be Cliffhanger with a 3.5 out of 5. We have a botched mid-air heist results in suitcases full of cash being searched for by various groups throughout the Rocky Mountains. You've got Stallone, you've got Michael Rooker, you've got John Lithgow in this movie. And initially, when I'd watched this movie, I watched it twice so far. I watched it about a year or two ago for the first time, surprisingly enough, and then I just rewatched it within the last week. It's okay. It got better, actually, for me, because it would have been lower ranked had I not rewatched all these movies. It would have been lower ranked in my ranking, but it's good. John Lithgow plays a great bad guy, and I hear there's going to be a Cliffhanger 2. Why? Don't make Cliffhanger 2. Anyway, coming in 14th place for me, which is a movie that went way higher than I expected, is going to be Assassins with a 3.5 out of 5. You've got a professional hitman named Robert Rath, who wants to fulfill a few more contracts before retiring, but you have an ambitious newcomer hitman, Miguel Bain, keeps killing his targets. So we have Sylvester Stallone, we have Antonio Banderas, we have the chick from Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World, which her name escapes me right now. And it was a lot more better than I remember, because I own this movie on VHS, and I've watched it probably 2 or 3 times and never got really into Assassins. But this time, I was actually really entertained by Assassins, and I'm surprised it's number 14, because I thought it would be 25th at the highest in my ranking. And that chick, I can't remember her name, is driving me nuts. I didn't put the names down of the people in the movie. I'm just doing that by memory. So Assassins is my number 14. Another movie placement that might get me canceled. Coming in 13th place, we have Rambo First Blood with a 3.5 out of 5. This was a first-time watch for me, unless I watched it before and didn't remember anything about it. But we have a veteran Green Beret Rambo is forced by a cruel sheriff played by Brian Denny and his deputies to flee into the mountains and wage an escalating one-man war against his pursuers. It's a good movie. I just feel like since it's the first time I watched it that I know of, it's a bit dated to me, but it's still really good. I know a lot of people will be upset because it's like this awesome action movie, but for me, because my nostalgia factor for some of these movies, I only put it at number 13. Coming in 12th place, we have Creed 2 with a 3.5 out of 5. We have Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed. Under the tutelage of Rocky Balboa, a newly crowned heavyweight champion, Adonis faces off against Victor Drago, the son of Ivan Drago, the returning Dolph Lundgren to the Rocky/Creed franchise. I really like this movie, although rewatching it, this is probably the 5th or 6th time I've seen it. It went down slightly for me because I don't know. I just feel like there's something in the movie that Rocky does that I don't think he would. That's not in Rocky's character, in my opinion. But of course, you have Sylvester Stallone, you have Michael B. Jordan, you have the returning Dolph Lundgren, and you have other random people that have been in the other Rocky movies, that like the coach. And it's a fun movie. I really like it, and I'm glad that it makes Rocky IV a better movie. Which we haven't talked about Rocky IV yet, but we will. So Creed 2, my number 12. Coming in 11th place for me, a hidden gem that not many people have seen, and that would be Lock Up. A 4.0 out of 5, with only 6 months left of his sentence. Inmate Frank Leone is transferred from a minimum security prison to a maximum security prison by a vindictive warden played by the late, great Donald Sutherland. This is a really good movie with some good character development, but Stallone really is good in Lock Up, and not a lot of people have seen Lock Up, but I really enjoy it. You want to hate Donald Sutherland for what he does in this movie, but I just really like the movie. It's been one of my favorites for a while. Of course, it's only in 11th place, but there's other movies that I like a lot more. And maybe this is interchangeable with the next movie. Now that I look at it, maybe this should be number 10, and the one I'm about to talk about should be number 11. But whatever the case may be, Lock Up, if you haven't seen it yet, you should really go see that, and that's why that's my number 11. At the moment, coming in 10th place will be Copland. With a 4.0 out of 5, we have a sheriff of a suburban New Jersey community populated by New York City police officers slowly discovers the town is a front for mob connections and corruption. This movie has an awesome cast: Stallone, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Michael Rappaport, Ray Liotta. Forgot Ray Liotta for a second there. Amongst other people in the movie. It's a movie that this is the first time that I've really liked this movie. I've probably watched it 3 times before, maybe twice before, but this time it really resonated with me, and it's a great performance by Stallone. He even gained like 30 or 40 pounds for this movie to look like kind of like an older sheriff, and he is supposed to be like hearing impaired in the movie. But Copland is a lot of fun, and great performances by Ray Liotta. De Niro's not really in it a lot, and Stallone's awesome. Harvey Keitel is really awesome, and that's why Copland, at the moment, cracks my top 10 at number 10. Coming in 9th place is going to be Creed. Another 4.0 out of 5. You have the former World Heavyweight Champion Rocky Balboa serves as a trainer and mentor to Adonis Johnson, the son of his late and former rival Apollo Creed. A really good movie, really good relationship between Adonis and Rocky in the movie, and I like it quite a bit. It's probably a better movie than Creed 2, but it's really, really good. Or Creed 2 is really good as well, but it just has like a lot of heart in the movie, and I enjoy it a lot. So Creed, really good movie, comes in 9th place. I will say, while I like Creed and Creed 2, I am not a fan of Creed 3. So I'm glad that Sylvester Stallone wasn't a part of that project, because the movie just didn't work for me. Hopefully they make some improvements with Creed 4. Nothing against Michael B. Jordan as a director, but it's a different style, and I didn't like it. This next one I'm about to talk about, I don't think a lot of people are going to rate this high. They'll probably put it lower on the ranking, probably bottom 10. But I really like it. I've always really enjoyed the film. In fact, something that happens in the movie makes it lower in my ranking. Otherwise, I would put it really high. But my number 8 is going to be Daylight. With a 4.0 out of 5. A disaster in a New York tunnel as explosions collapse both ends of it. One hero, played by Stallone, named Kit Latura, tries to help the people inside find their way to safety. I don't know how accurate this movie is, like if this could actually happen, But you have, with Sylvester Stallone, you have Sage Stallone, rest in peace, Amy Brenneman, Viggo Mortensen, and you also have a very young Danielle Harris, who was in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Like I mentioned, this film would actually be higher in my ranking if, well, I don't necessarily want to give spoilers, but I will say, as a minor spoiler, but not spoiling completely what happens, they do the character of George wrong in this movie. It would be higher in my ranking. So Daylight, number 8. My number 7 is going to be Rocky Balboa, with a 4.0 out of 5. 30 years after the ring of the first bell, Rocky Balboa comes out of retirement and dons his gloves for one final fight against the reigning heavyweight champion, Mason the Line Dixon. Mason the Line Dixon didn't look like he was a heavyweight. Of course, boxing heavyweights are different than MMA heavyweights, but this is a great movie. I really like it. The fight isn't the best, but it's a great movie with some great dialogue. There's a quote by Stallone, a really long quote, like, "It's all about sunshine and rainbows. You get hit and you keep on hitting." I don't want to butcher the quote. I've been talking for 27 plus minutes or something like that, so my brain's starting to get a little bit foggy. But it's a good movie. Of course, with Stallone, you have Burt Young reprising his role as Uncle Paulie. You have Tony Burton reprises his role as Duke. You also have the guy AJ Benza's in the movie. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Antonio Tarver as Mason the Line Dixon. I really like the movie. It's a lot of fun. It's got some great quotes, especially like Uncle Paulie says he was bad to Adrian, and you were good to her, Rock. I was bad to her. So awesome movie. Rocky Balboa, number 7. Coming in sixth place for me is going to be Tango and Cash, with a 4.0 out of 5. Framed by their ruthless arch nemesis, a pair of mismatched LAPD officers must put their differences aside to get even with the brutal crime baron who sent them to rot in a maximum security prison. You have, obviously, Sylvester Stallone, you have Kurt Russell, you have Terry Hatcher, you have Jack Palance in the movie, and it's a really fun buddy cop movie, but it's like a drama action movie with Stallone and Kurt Russell. I've always liked Tango and Cash, but looking at this, I probably should have put Rocky Balboa ahead of this. I'm not sure my reasoning why I did that, but hey, that's the order I put them in. I guess keep in mind that any given day, the order of this ranking could change a few spots. The bottom 2, definitely not, but the rest of them, there could be some changes here and there, but that's where it stands. Tango and Cash, number 6. We've reached the top 5, and coming in fifth place for me, get your cancel buttons ready. I talked about a movie that I like, had a lot of nostalgia for growing up, and it's near and dear to my heart, but critics didn't like it, and I don't think a lot of other people like it, but that would be Over the Top. We have Stallone playing the character of Lincoln Hawk, who's a tough trucker, is determined to win back his son in triumph at an arm wrestling championship. I love Over the Top. There's 3 movies that I watched as a kid over and over and over and over and over again. Over the Top was one of those movies, and it stars Sylvester Stallone, obviously, Robert Loggia. Those are the 2 big names in the movie, and the rest of the people are kind of like minuscule. I admit, the kid Michael in the movie is highly annoying, but the movie, to me, is so good. Again, I watched it over and over and over again when I was a kid, so that's why Over the Top comes in fifth place in my ranking. Probably not yours, though. Coming in the fourth place for me with a score of 4.5 out of 5 would be Rambo. The 2008 edition. In Thailand, John Rambo joins a group of mercenaries to venture into a war-torn Burma and rescue a group of Christian aid workers who were kidnapped by the ruthless local infantry unit. Stallone's in it. Julie Benz is in it. You have the guy from Lucifer season 4. Graham McTavish, I think his name is. He's in it. I can't remember the rest of the people that are in it. But Rambo is brutal. This movie is violent as hell, and they really push the envelope on Rambo. Now, I had seen this movie before, only one time. It was the first Rambo movie I ever watched, probably like 2014, 15-ish is when I watched it. And it was an awesome movie and very violent and brutal. They definitely pushed the envelope in this one, and I really enjoyed what I got in Rambo. So that's why Rambo from 2008 is my number 4. My bronze medal winner coming in third place for me is going to be Rocky II with a 4.5 out of 5. Rocky struggles in family life after his bout with Apollo Creed, while the embarrassed champ insistently goads him to accept a challenge for a rematch. I just really like this movie a lot more than the original. I know you can cancel me all you want. I think there's really good moments in the movie. Obviously, at the end of the movie, there's a really big moment that happens. And then there's the movie. This isn't a big spoiler, so I'm going to go into details about it. But when Adrian is in a coma in this movie, and then she wakes up, and she had been bugging Rocky not to fight for a long time. And then she tells Rocky, after waking up from this coma, she's like, Rocky, I want you to do one thing. What's that? Win. And Rocky's like, huh? Win. And then Mickey goes, well, what are we waiting for? And then we start the training montage where Rocky's focused again. And it's just an enjoyable movie. I really like what happens in Rocky 2. Obviously, the rematch with Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. But I'm surprised I haven't said that yet. But Rocky 2 is amazing. I really like it, and that's why it's my number 3. Coming in second place, speaking of Rocky 2, we're going to go right into Rocky 4 with a 4.5 out of 5. Rocky Balboa proudly holds the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship, but a new challenger has stepped forward. Ivan Drago, a 6'4", 261-pound fighter who has the backing of the Soviet Union. This movie obviously has Carl Weathers, rest in peace, Dolph Lundgren, you have Talia Shire, Burt Young coming back, you have Tony Burton as Duke, and it's just a really good movie. You have Brigitte Nielsen as the wife of Ivan Drago, who was Sylvester Stallone's ex-wife that he had married for, 1 or 2 years. The soundtrack for this movie alone is amazing. The training montage, that's definitely a workout match with Hearts on Fire. So good. And Creed 2 makes this movie better, in my opinion. And I never used to like it as much, but over the years, I'm really coming around on Rocky 4, and that's why it's my number 2. So the anticipation is now over with. My number 1, and I gave you guys a clue to what my number 1 is. This is your clue. My number 1 for my favorite Sylvester Stallone movie of all time is Demolition Man. With a 5.0 out of 5, you have a police officer, John Spartan, is brought out of suspended animation in prison to pursue an old ultraviolet nemesis played by Wesley Snipes, Simon Phoenix, who is loose in a non-violent future society. This movie is awesome. It came out in 94 or 93, and it still holds up. You've got Sylvester Stallone, you've got Wesley Snipes, you've got Sandra Bullock, you've got Dennis Leary, you've got Benjamin Bratt, you have Rob Schneider briefly. I really, really love Demolition Man. It used to be my favorite movie of all time. Of course, a lot of movies have came out since the mid-90s, so unfortunately it's still in the top 5. But man, Demolition Man is a lot of fun, and I think it still holds up. And some things that happened in Demolition Man have actually happened in real life. Like they joke about Schwarzenegger being a politician, and then Schwarzenegger becomes the governor of California, or as he would say, California. So it's an awesome movie. If you haven't seen Demolition Man, I really want you to watch that. So there's my ranking of 30 random Sylvester Stallone movies. I hope you enjoyed this ranking video. I watched all these over again, and hopefully you like it. I know Rocky being, 16th place, I should definitely be canceled, but I just don't enjoy it as much. I don't know, so that's my opinion. So, now that I'm done, it's your turn. Make sure that you smash the like button. Share this video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on my ranking of these random 30 Sylvester Stallone movies. Is there a movie that I really should have included? Yeah, I should have included Escape Plan 3 because I included the first two. I don't know. But if there's one you really want me to watch and give my opinion on, which I've seen most of his movies, there's a couple that I haven't seen yet, though, so let me know in the comment section. If there's an actor or actress that has a pretty big filmography that I like and you want me to do the same thing for them on their birthday, leave that person in the comment section. Like, I could do a Will Smith ranking, although I don't know if he has 30 movies. It might be like a top 20 for Will Smith. Ben Affleck, I tend to like, so I could do him. You have, of course, Tom Cruise. You have Leonardo DiCaprio. Sandra Bullock, my favorite actress of all time, so I could do those definitely. So let me know your opinions in the comment section. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Join the team. Show your damn support. And be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.